Being released today are the All-Ohio football teams for Division 6 and 7. Plenty of area athletes making the list, so here they are starting in Division 6. The Offensive Player of the Year is Fort Recovery's very own Will Homan. He also makes first-team All-Ohio, and so does a pair of quarterbacks from the area, Liberty Benton's Austin May and Ada's Seth Conley. One of Conley's top targets, Chase Sumner, grabs first-team All-Ohio as well, and so does Notre Dame commit John Dirksen from Marion Local. Moving to first-team defense, another Flyer making the list is Matt Rethman. A pair from LB and A.J. Dobbins and Will Poling achieve first-team honors, and so does Andrew Stocker from Fort Recovery. Second-team offense features Coldwater's Jacob Winning, and the defense names four to the list, including a pair of T-Birds. Eli Heister makes it as a kicker. As for your honorable mentions in Division 6, 3 Bearcats make it, including Chris Picker, Devon Tyson from Jefferson, and 2 more from LCC in Connor Bowker and Ron Banks. And rounding out the list, Patrick Henry's valedictorian Damian Lanzer and Coldwater's Thomas Schwieterman.
74 here, 74.
In Division 7, our Coach of the Year is Luke Taviano, well-deserved after he led the Commodores to their first ever playoff appearance. A pair of signal callers make first team, Pandora Gilboa's Jared Brees and Lehman Catholic's Elliot Gallardi. 3 area kids make first team all defense, Crestview Jr. Wade Sheets. He also makes it as an honorable mention on offense, another Cavalier and Michael Bunker, and Fort Loramie's Cody Barhorst. The second team is headlined by Minster's Jared Heelsman and Crestview Jr. Drew Klein, his teammate Dylan Hicks alongside him, plus a pair from Loramie and Carter Knopfziger from Pandora Gilboa. Rounding out the second team, Owen Smith and Michael Denning from Lehman Catholic. Denning, our second featured kicker. 9 different athletes make third team All-Ohio. Isaac Schmeezing from Minster, a couple more Cavaliers, Sam Putoff from Fort Loramie, Pandora Gilboa's Ethan Steiner, Alec Bauer from Hopa Loudon, and 3 Panthers from Macomb finish our third team list. As for our honorable mentions, 2 more from Crestview, including the aforementioned first team defender Wade Sheets and freshman Max Hoying from Fort Loramie. Our Basement Doctor Play of the Week comes from the Minster Wildcats, but it's not just one play. Instead, it's a performance that led the Wildcats to the state championship game. Jared Heelsman had quite the night on Friday. The tall task at hand was to lead the Wildcats in battle against undefeated, top-seeded Norwalk St. Paul. The senior quarterback used his legs to aid in Minster's quest to return to the state title game for the 3rd time in the past 4 years. Heelsman averaged just over 6.5 yards per carry on the night, rushing 42 times for 277 yards and 5 touchdowns. Minster won the ballgame 40-7 and will head to Canton to play for a state title. And since we're on the topic, how about those Minster Wildcats? It will be back-to-back state championship appearances, but this time Minster is looking for gold. The Wildcats knew that they could have had their hands full when it came down to their matchup against St. Paul, but according to Coach Stokes, it's the time and effort showcased each and every day from his team that proved to be worthy in the end.
I really believe that it's from the preparation. These kids attack. I wish our world attacked every day like our kids attack today, man. They just embrace practice. They embrace every rep. It's important to get better. Just awesome character by our kids.
Honestly, I credit our practice habits. Our practice habits are, we pride ourselves on being the best practice team in the nation, and throughout practices, we demonstrate those attitudes in the games.
All the work we've done since January this year, all these 4 years, we've just been grinding together. It just shows, that work pays off. All the work that the people don't see behind the scenes, it just pays off.
As for our defending Division 6 contender, Marion Local made their presence felt right away, scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half, both from the arm of quarterback Nathan Bruns. The Flyers signal caller setting the tone for Marion, not only passing, but also with his legs.
Nate Bruns is an athlete, and that's what athletes do this time of year. If you got to pass it, you got to run it. Somehow you got to get a first down, and he's been able to do that for us down the stretch here.
Coming out of halftime with an 18-0 lead, Marion Local then turned to a more conservative approach, utilizing their run game, which accounted for 2 more touchdowns, a 1-yard punch-in by Alex Partington, and a 15-yard scamper by Nolan Habidas to seal a Flyers win.
I think they played pretty well the second half. First half it was pretty tough sledding running the ball. So, obviously when we're ahead 18-0, I think at halftime, you want to run the ball because you saw in the second half they got a good offense. So we wanted to keep it away from them.
As we exit the high school scene, we make a stop in Cincinnati, see the Battle of Ohio between the Browns and Bengals right after this quick timeout. Welcome back. After Thad Matta was out as the head coach at Ohio State, Chris Holtmann took the job. Holtmann, who left the Bulldogs in June to join the Buckeyes, did not want to face his former Butler team, saying, quote, "It's certainly not ideal, not how we would have drawn it up," end quote. However, both teams ended up meeting in the Phil Knight Invitational. Butler climbing back from a 15-point deficit to put the game into overtime. Then with 10 seconds left, Kalen Martin drives by his defender and scores off the glass. Butler beats Ohio State 67-66 in overtime. And after a great college football Saturday, the AP polls have been released. Alabama no longer #1 as they dropped to 5th with their loss to Auburn. The Tigers at #4. You see a split panel with the top 3. Clemson with 27 votes sits in 1st. Oklahoma behind them in 2nd, and Wisconsin in 3rd. Ohio State stays at #8 in the AP polls, but the Buckeyes have the opportunity to beat the undefeated Badgers in the Big Ten championship game this Saturday. Penn State right behind OSU in 9th. Notre Dame lost to Stanford. The Fighting Irish dropping to 15th, and our last 2 Big Ten teams are Michigan State and Northwestern. The Spartans and Wildcats in at 19 and 20. And we end with the Battle of Ohio. The Browns and Bengals ready to square off in round 2. The Bengals have now won 6 straight against the Browns, setting the longest winning streak in this particular rivalry, while the Browns, well, they just want to win. The team from Cleveland still looking for their first win of the season. It was a 31-7 affair with Cincy on top the last time these two teams met in Cleveland. First quarter, Browns lead by 3, but Andy Dalton changes that with a quick strike to Tyler Boyd. Bengals lead 7-3. That's Boyd's first touchdown of the season. Bengals threatening again in the second, but Myles Garrett is there to bring down the Red Rifle. Garrett recording his 5th sack of the year. We now enter the 3rd. Cincy up by 10, and they add on. Dalton with some play action to Tyler Croft. His first touchdown at home puts the Bengals ahead 23-6. Browns down, but not out. In the 4th quarter, Deshaun Kaiser decides to keep it himself. Into the end zone he goes on 4th down. Browns draw within 7, but the Bengals march right back down and seal the deal. Joe Mixon takes the pitch and works his way to pay dirt. 23 carries for a $114 and a touchdown for him. Bengals win 30-16.
All right, thanks so much. We'll be right back.